Everybody asks me about the hybrid club. How should I buy it? What should it look like? How much loft? All that stuff. Well, you know what? If you want to transform your game, you've got to get the hybrids into your bag. It's time for our transformational tip presented by Morgan Franklin. Now, here's what I want to show you. I've got a 3-iron that I'm hitting right here, and I've got a hybrid next to me right there. I'm going to show you the difference between how these clubs work, and then I want to teach you how to know the right hybrid for you, all right? So, I got a flag out here about 205. I've got my 3-iron right here. We're going to take a little hit, and we're going to see what happens. What you're going to see is a couple of different things. One, you're going to see this golf ball come off, and this is not my best shot here, but come on over here, Gibbers, and we're going to see what happens. So I hit it about 200 yards is what I hit it. And at 200 yards, my ball speed was about 131. I'm gonna make a note of all this. But I want you to pay attention to a couple of different things. Again, we look at spin rates, we look at launch angles, and we look at apexes. So when I get my apex here, this one has an apex of about 73 feet. I typically want to play this shot at about 90 feet. That's where I'm comfortable. That ball's going to end up landing and being a soft shot. And my launch angle there is about 12 degrees, right? So we come over here. I'm going to just make a couple of notes on what we've got going on with this 3-iron. So my 3-iron right here has, I'm going to just round up, about 200 yards. It's got a ball speed of about 131. It's got a spin of about 3850, and it's got a 73-foot apex with a launch angle of about 12 degrees. Now, we're going to go to the hybrid. And I want you to understand how this works. Now, with the hybrid, what I have is I have a 4 hybrid. I know, you're thinking, well, I thought you would have a 3 hybrid, and you compare a 3-iron to a 3 hybrid. You do not do that. 3 hybrids will go farther than 3 irons. 5 hybrids go farther than 5 irons. So I'm going for similar. I'm going to a 4 hybrid. This has about 23 degrees of loft to it. But what I want you to see is how much different the outcome of this shot is. All right, so set up. Same target, same swing. So now, this shot here, really, really high shot. Look at how softly that ball landed. I need you to appreciate just exactly what's going on here with this 23-degree hybrid. So let's look at some different things. First of all, total distance. That went about 206. My other one's about 200. So that's roughly the same. And I might have mishit that 3-iron a little bit, but it's roughly about 205, okay? So that number right there, perfect for me. Now I look at ball speed, 135 in the ball speed. Okay, that's pretty good. Let's go down to some key numbers now. Spin rates. 4760 on the spin rate on that hybrid. My launch angle on that was 16.4. And my apex, this is the biggest part of this whole thing. My apex went to 115 feet. That is up there. What does that mean? That means when that ball lands, it's going to land softly. Let me write some of this stuff down so we can compare this. My distance, 206. My ball speed, 135. Now a little bit more solid strike on that. Spin rate, 4760. So my spin rate is way up there. That's what, about 900 RPM? That's about, yeah, it's about 900 RPM. So I'm plus 900. Yeah, I'll take it. How about the apex? 115. What is that one? That's plus about 40 feet. And the launch angle, 16.4. What's that? That's plus about 4.4. What does that add up to? That adds up to a shot that when it lands on the green is going to be incredibly soft. It doesn't go very far. It's such an advantage. Now, why is that an advantage for you? Because when you're hitting a shot that isn't releasing when it lands on the green, you expand greens. And when you expand greens, you make it so that you have a better chance of keeping the ball close to the hole. If I have a hole location in the middle of the green and I land it in the middle of the green, the ball's going to stay In the middle of the green. That's right. If I take the 3-iron and I hit that shot and it releases when it lands, now all of a sudden I have to land it in the front of the green to get it to get back to that hole location. And if I land it in the middle of the green, it tends to go over the green. And when it goes over the green, now I'm chipping downhill. I'm increasing the speed of the green. I'm making the game a lot harder. So what are we doing? We're getting ourselves this hybrid. And I just want to share one other thing with you when I hit this so you see where we have some similarities here. So now this is a little bit of a fade. This is my miss hit. And what you're going to see is everything went up. Apex went up. The launch angle went up. Everything went up. But what you'll also notice is my side spin was less. And when my side spin is less, my ball's closer to where I'm going. Now let me get this 3-iron, and I'm going to explain this to you about what you're doing when you get this, okay? And I have a 3-iron that I carry in my bag, so when I set this all up, I'm going to go right to the 3-iron, and then my hybrid is a 3 hybrid. That's how I go. Now, in your bag, you may go, say, to the 6-iron, and then you start putting in a hybrid. When you put in that next hybrid, put in the 6 hybrid. So you should have 6-iron, 6 hybrid. Or if you go to 5-iron, 5-iron, 5 hybrid, okay? If you go 5-iron and then you go 4 hybrid, you're going to have a big gap, all right? Now, how do you know when you should start putting in the hybrids and taking out the irons? Pay attention to the apex. So when I go in here with this 3-iron and I hit this, and this comes out, what I'm going to look at is I'm going to look at my apex. And when my apex on that shot, and that was a better shot for me. That one there flew about 202, had an apex of about 85 feet. So that one was a little bit better. But here's my point. When you're trying to figure this whole thing out, and you need to go get fit for this, you need to understand to transform your game properly, you need to get fit. When you go looking at and hitting these shots, you got to factor in what's happening over here with apex. And you got to start looking at, okay, you know what? That's not as high as I want to get it. Or my spin rate. I look at spin rates and I go, okay, my spin rate right there at 3,800 isn't as good as 4,800. And 4,800 with an apex of, say, 110 feet, that's going to make that descent angle, that's going to make that ball when it lands on the green so much better. So what does this all mean? We got to transform our game. We got to play better. We got to shoot lower scores. What does that mean you got to do? You got to evaluate everything. You got to understand every single club in your bag. What does it do for you? And when you start looking at your golf clubs, if your 5-iron isn't going up into the air and it's releasing out a lot, you need to start thinking about getting a hybrid, because that hybrid club is going to throw the ball up into the air, add a little bit more spin to you, get that golf ball going closer to where you want it to go, and ultimately help you shoot lower scores. That is our transformational tip, and that's presented by Morgan Franklin.